Today in Acts, we read about Paul and Silas's visit to a small town and their run-in with a slave girl. But she is no ordinary slave girl, not by a long shot. This little slave girl has magical powers. She has been possessed by a spirit of divination. Now, what exactly was this spirit of divination? Your guess is as good as mine. Sometimes the Bible can be weird. Back to the story. The slave girl follows Paul and Silas for a while, shouting, "These men are slaves of the Most High God, who proclaim to you a way of salvation." After a few days of this happening, Paul just does not take this anymore and says to the girl, "Look, please just leave us alone." And then I imagine just like a little spirity things floating out of the girl's body, and after which the girl thanks them. Look, I get why Paul was upset. I can only take Aiden asking me to do things for him so long before I just cave in and do it. So then Paul and Silas, the latter of the two is really only guilty by association because almost everything in the story revolves around Paul. Both of them get publicly flogged and then thrown in jail, all because Paul got annoyed and cast the spirit out of the girl's body, and her owners couldn't make money off of the fortune telling. Then a couple hours pass, it's the middle of the night, and there's an earthquake. The jail awakes, pitch black, all the doors are open. The jailer's like, "Oh no, the prisoners have escaped." Back in those times, if a prisoner had escaped, the life of the jailer was demanded in their place. So, to shorten the shame and punishment he believed was coming his way, he draws his sword and says, "It's over. Time to give up." But before he falls on his sword, something special happens. I find it fitting that this story was our first reading for this Sunday, exactly 1 week before the youth leave for their camps. I have a story from about 3 years ago about one of the hardest experiences I have ever had to go through. It was a summer of firsts. My first year of confirmation camp at Luther Rock. My first time being away from any of my wonderful family members for more than a day. And my first experience with what I would call true physical activity. On Thursday, my cabin and the sister cabin of ours went hiking up one of the mountains, and I just did not have a very good time. My short arms and legs and my general lack of stamina were not a good match. And the lack of facilities on the side of a mountain, that didn't help. Coming down was not any easier. As we decided to come down when it started to storm. Now, this was not like the afternoon showers we have here in Central Florida. There was thunder, lightning, and very heavy rain that made going down the mountain much harder. Not to mention, I was with a small group of people that could not traverse the mountain as fast as we fell behind. All we could do was pray that we were following the right path and hopefully not getting lost. That afternoon, after all was said and done, I just found myself completely ready to give up, and I just really wanted to go home. Now, I have a question for all of you out there in the audience. Have you ever felt like there was a time you just really wanted to give up? Well, I did, and the jailer certainly did. Speaking of which, let's get back to him. holding the sword, ready to fall on it. Paul and Silas are like, wait, no, please don't do that. We're all here. No one's left. Don't worry. So the jailer realizes he doesn't need to end his life and walks over to them, pleading and crying, saying, please, what do I need to do to be saved? And you want to know what they say? They say, we know a guy. And that guy is good old Jesus Christ. Jesus sent people to help the jailer. The jailer takes those people to his home to share the good word and gets his whole household baptized. Now, what Jesus did for the jailer was to not give up on him. And this man was about to literally die. He was spiritually resurrected. Jesus did literally die and was literally resurrected. God didn't give up on life. He didn't give up on the jailer, and he didn't let the jailer give up on himself. When I was down in the dumps that fateful Thursday, God sent me the people I needed to help. That night, my counselor, Andrew, who we called Drewby, could tell something was wrong. He came over to find out what was going on. I told him that I was not having a good time and wanted to go home. Drewby really tried to comfort me and cheer me up, but he knew that it just wasn't going to work. So Drewby alerted Pastor Derek that I was unhappy and wanted to go home. Pastor Derek came over and very bluntly said, going home is not an option. But he also helped me see that even though climbing the mountain was the most difficult task of the week, it was also the most spiritually rewarding thing I had ever done. God sent me people to remind me that our darkest moments can lead to our brightest. As nervous as I was to go to camp for the first time 3 years ago, I'm just as excited to be going back for another spiritually and fun-filled week. And perhaps one day, I can be there for a camper like Drewby was there for me. We are the people that God sent to not give up on other people.